We live? Yes, we are. What's going on, people? Welcome to Man Knows Football. You're here with myself, Guni, and I've got several guests with me. Familiar faces. I'm sure you've seen them before, having talks around the Chelsea community. Well, you definitely know Lewis. You definitely know Alex. And then there's my guy, Joey, as well. Joey, I know you've been getting active. You've been getting busy in the spaces as well, man. But big up everybody for joining. Big up everybody in the chat for waiting all of 4 minutes that we have been late. Sorry to keep you for so long. Just keep your hair on, do you know what I mean? Otherwise, you'll end up like me. But, yeah, man, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. And if you're watching after the video, make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments. But today, obviously, we're going to be talking about transfer news. I know a lot of you are waiting for the barbecue with Darko, but there's been problems with his sound, as many of you know. And he's getting his microphones tomorrow. So we will be resuming as normal from tomorrow. We just want to give you a much better sound quality. But trust me, there is a lot coming. But big up everyone that's joined in. Lewis, Joey, Alex. How is everybody, man?
Good,
Good.
man. I'm good.
Not
Right.
bad. Feels a bit peaceful.
Watching Soccer Aid. Nothing else to do.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that it was going to be on at this time. So it's a bit of a poor time to be picking the stream. But it is what it is, man. But look, we're just going to get straight into it. Transfers. This is the time of the season that many of us have been waiting for after our shambolic performances this season. We are desperate. I think even more desperate to see players go out than come in. Well, I'm going to speak for myself and say that's the case. But one that's been quite interesting, two participants in the Champions League final yesterday. Obviously, Manchester City completed their treble, beating Inter Milan. But there are two players there, one who is currently a Chelsea player and the other one we may be hoping to become a Chelsea player. That is Andre Onana and Romelu Lukaku. We'll start with the one that we own first. Lewis, I already know. I don't even know why I'm asking you first, Lewis, but we already know. Just
Guni,
give us
I
a
think
little...
I think we have a problem, Guni. I think
What's
we have
going
a
on?
problem. People saying that it's really lagging, really
The
bad.
stream's lagging.
Like it's
Oh, the
yeah. I'm on
streams are
YouTube also same time, and it's like it's loading. It's like it's not.
I'm not sure why that's happening.
It's
Hold on.
really bad.
All right, you know what we'll do? Yo, can you see us? Or can you see me? Give me a thumbs up if you can see me. I don't know why that's moving like that. All right. You lot giving me a yeah. How's the connection? That means I don't even have to change the thing. Oh, yes. All right, cool. But you lot are gonna have to deal with this powered by StreamYard thing, the free promo for StreamYard. Yeah, bun OBS, man. Keep doing that. I don't know why that even happened. Like I even pushed up my internet connection like to the max. Like I pushed because there's a way where you can like push your bandwidth to OBS and they should be running off that. So I don't even know what happened there, but here we are. Fuck it. We found a solution, people. And it also means I don't have to start a whole new stream and send a whole new link. All right, let me just send something to the boys. All right, send Alex's link. Send Joey's link. Now I'm gonna forward. Now I'm gonna forward Lewis the link. Just bear with me, people. I'm just gonna get Lewis the link here. This iPhone scan text thing letting me down. Hold on. There you go. Trying to scan the text. There you go. Bam. Right. Much better. Yeah, now everyone's saying the connection's good. Everyone's saying the connection's good. Okay, there we go. I need to close that.
Yeah, it's better. I can see on YouTube everything is working.
All right, cool. Just waiting for the other two to jump in. But I guess I'm gonna have to start the intro and all of that all over again, man. Flipping hell. All right, people. Take two. Take two. Yeah, to those that have just joined, it's your sporadic OBS problems that I've had on Man Knows Football before, but we have moved over to StreamYard, who are getting the free promo, as you can see in that corner. But big up to StreamYard for being a plan B, and big up all of you for patiently waiting. A lot of you in the chat have been patiently waiting, and today, obviously, we're going to be discussing more transfers. But before I do that, I just wanted to explain to the peoples about the barbecue having to be postponed by just a day, but that's only because the sound quality on Darko's side hasn't really been too great, so he has ordered some new mics which should be arriving tomorrow. So we will resume as normal, this time with much better sound quality on Darko's behalf. So apologies for the wait, but the barbecue will definitely be back. Everyone is slowly starting to join in. I'm not sure where Joey's gone. I forwarded him the link. At least I hope I did. Let me make sure. Oh, yep, I did. But for the three of us so far, we're good. We're good. But Lewis, Onana, Lukaku. Where are we going here with Chelsea? Let's start with Lukaku. Let's start with that situation, because it's come out today that the president of Inter Milan is very much interested in keeping Romelu Lukaku on a permanent basis. So, do you see it happening? Do you see that happening? Do you see it being realistic, at least from an Inter Milan perspective? Where are they going to get the money from to facilitate this move, first of all?
That's got to come from Lukaku, in my opinion. If he wants this move so much, he's got to lower his wages. Because his idea is that he wants Chelsea, apparently, well, it's been reported that he wants Chelsea to pay more of his loan wages next season. But we apparently already figured out that we gave Lukaku to them for way too cheap. So it's probably not going to happen unless he makes the change within himself. If he wants Inter Milan that badly, you can go there for less money. And I'm sure if he was willing to do that, we would be willing to sell him to Inter Milan for probably whatever the price would be, because we just want to get him off our books. The change has to come from him. If you really want to join Inter Milan that bad, you better make it easy for us, because we've had a nightmare of a last year trying to get him off our books. So it's up to him.
Listen, at this point, man, just get him gone. And for me, it's just like, even if it's a case of taking a little 40 million or something like that, take it. Just get him out of the club. Just get him out of the club, man. The saga's done. Do you know what I mean? Alex, talk to me. What do you reckon about this whole situation with Lukaku?
Well, we don't need the defenders, and apparently he's great at it.
Hey, listen, I need to ask the three of you, actually, now that you've actually touched on that topic. Is he seriously to blame for that block? Come on, let's have it right. Is he seriously to blame for that block?
I can tell you how I will blame it. It's based on geometry. Like the bigger he is, the bigger angle he can cover. So it doesn't matter.
That's a lose some weight, motherfucker.
The funny part is, it happened last season in Europa final. In the final game, there's a header that hit him in the head. So I don't know, but he's always in a position where his defender should be. Maybe that's his true colors. I don't know, but of course, it's all the jokes. But I don't think he wants to go. He wants to stay at Chelsea, so he will do whatever possibly can be done to leave. So I think it's could be a potential situation with mutual consent. We cut the ties with him with like how many years he got left? Maybe 2-3 years left on his contract.
I think it'll be 3 years.
3 years. So instead of 3 years salary pay, we will give him a season and a half of pay, and we'll cut the ties. And all of a sudden, he's on free, going to whoever he wants to go, and whatever wages he wants to go. If he's going to be on free, he will actually catch all the wages that he can in Inter Milan. But I seriously doubted he's coming back to Chelsea under any circumstances.
Joey, is his time up?
Oh, 100%. There's no question about it. I don't think that you can cut ties with them just because of FFP reasons, but like you were saying there, but I do think that Inter Milan will pay some type of money towards him, and I do think it is really on him though. Like if he really like Lewis was saying, if he really wants to go, he needs to make the decision that I'm gonna take less money to be in Italy and be in Italy because we don't want you in London, plain and simple.
No, well, I think that decision's been made by him because he said several times, at least, you know, when he first got his move back to Inter Milan, he did say that he was willing to take a pay cut. So if he's still on the same tune as he was back then, you know, that's good for us. That's good for Inter Milan. That's good for Chelsea. It's a good move for
I'm sorry
everybody.
to correct you there, but he didn't. At the end of the day,
He didn't say that. But
no,
didn't
he didn't get the pay cut. We actually paying partial of his pay
Yeah.
salary right now.
No, but I was no. I was saying if he got the move permanently, he wouldn't have minded taking the pay cut.
And
That's
another
what- that-
thing that FFP, that what you're saying, it's not true if what's the name? Because we didn't finish paying for Lukaku to Inter. If Inter
Yeah,
will
we still owe
cancel
the
that,
money,
that
innit?
means that FFP will not be involved. So that's another.
Yeah, we still haven't.
we did
it
not
was an
finish paying
installment
for
thing, innit?
Exactly.
Oh shit! Oh shit! So Lukaku's situation is a little bit it's a little bit of a complicated one. But look, let's just hope that something can happen because to be completely honest with you, man,
I think by the end of this week we'll have a clear indication on where Lukaku is going to end up, what the situation for Lukaku is going to be. Like there's already, that's like the only news we have out right now that's been coming out recently is really on him and Onana, and I really think that story is going to take pretty much the entire week next week.
well, apparently, lads, I've got the wrong name in the title for a potential swap. It could be Edouard Mendy. You could go the other way round to Inter Milan. Fabrizio Romano was saying earlier on in another stream, I believe that, you know, it could be down to Edouard Mendy to facilitate this move for Andre Onana. So whether that means, you know, a direct swap deal or the deal being done in a separate manner, I don't know. But it sounds like him going the other way could be, you know, could hang the transfer in the balance. How true do you think that is? I know it is Fabrizio Romano, but, you know, I heard that Inter are asking for about, what, 50, 60 million for him, around that price tag. I mean, you know, if we're looking at the other one at AC Milan, we're going to come on to Mike Maignan, he's going to cost a lot more than that. Then what's the problem with the deal being facilitated then?
I don't know
Whoever
how
wants to take it
how
on,
much
carry on.
Mendy. I don't know how much Mendy left on the contract though. Is he
Yeah,
still-
that
or-
I think we could get like still 20 million for Mendy, somewhere around there. But I think I think they're trying to get like a whole deal compiled with all three of these players that we've been talking about. And I think that's why it's going to take a little bit, because Inter are broke, like as broke as you can be as a football club right now, and they're just losing players left and right. They're going to lose Skriniar on a free, and they're probably going to have to lose at least two more players the way that they did last year with Hakimi last year, and then they had to lose.
They
2
just
years
got
ago.
themselves 90 million from reaching the final.
True, but they're still like all indications say
certain
that
amount
they're
a year to some loan company that I think bought out their club or something. I don't remember the politics behind it, but like they lose a certain amount of money each year. I do know that.
Shit, I don't know.
Well, you see, the problem with this whole situation, because both goalkeepers that we're going after are actually in both clubs and the shooter, AC Milan and Inter Milan, both financially unstable, and especially AC Milan now, since Maldini left, they're not stable financially. Plus, the bunch of players are not happy that what's his name is leaving. And if they can force it, that means that they can force the price drop. For example, AC Milan goalkeeper, he already came out and said that he's not happy with the situation. So it depends how much the actual players wants to push the move. You see what I'm saying? So I do
Yeah,
like
Now,
Onana
right.
though, based on
the real
yesterday.
question is would you rather have Onana or a Big Mike?
I
That
watched
is actually
Onana,
the
I
real
didn't watch
question,
Big
and
Mike.
I was actually gonna move on to that because it seems that like that's what it's gonna come down to. Because I'm pretty happy about the news I heard earlier in terms of Raya in Brentford. Not saying that he's a bad goalkeeper, but Tottenham
He is a bad
apparently are
goalkeeper.
advancing in talks, and potentially he could be going there. And once again, I don't think he's a terrible goalkeeper, but I definitely think there are way better options out there, and I'm glad that we're looking at two of them. Do you know what I mean? So it looks like Raya could potentially be out of the picture, and we're now looking at Onana and we're looking at Mike Maignan. Maignan for me has been easily one of the top 5 goalkeepers in the world this season. Onana for me is an excellent goalkeeper, but they have attributes that sort of differ. They're not exactly both the same goalkeeper. So what I mean by that is one is very talented, excellent at distributing the ball and makes excellent decisions at making the correct pass and can also start counter-attacks with his play. That's obviously Andre Onana. Maignan does it sometimes, very rarely, in comparison to Onana. But everything else around it that a goalkeeper needs, Maignan for me is the superior goalkeeper. So obviously the question is between those two goalkeepers before we look into it a bit more. Lewis, I'll start with you. Who would be your ideal choice, and who do you think would fit Pochettino's style of football between the two?
I mean, from the sounds of it, both of them are good at playing out at the back. I just think Onana does it to a better level. But Maignan is a lot more imposing. I think he's a lot better in terms of aerial threat, catching crosses. Apparently, he's a much better shot stopper. I would rather us go for Maignan. He seems like the massive step up that we're looking for. Whereas Onana, from everything that I've seen and everything that I've heard, sounds a lot more closer to what we already have. So yeah, I'd rather us go for Maignan. But if we go for either, we have upgraded in that position at the very least.
100%. Joey, give me your thoughts.
I feel like Maignan is like the type of leader we need on the field as well. Personally, I mean, he just from watching Milan, we only got to play him once, I think, and then throughout last year's run when they won the title, like he just was unbelievable. Like he was unbelievable to watch, just the commanding presence that he has aerially, and in that it's something special. He's probably, like you said, top 5 goalkeepers in the world right now. But I wouldn't be upset with Onana either. Just the struggles that we've seen with distribution from that position has just been absolutely painful to watch. So I'm honestly like Big Mike's my dream keeper personally, but like I'm not going to be upset if it is Onana in the end.
Alex, he did mention about leadership material in terms of Mike Maignan, but Onana also does. He is known for that. He's known to be a very vocal goalkeeper as well, and he is a bit of a presence at the back. But saying that, between the two goalkeepers, who would be your choice, and who do you feel will fit Pochettino's style better?
Like it wasn't me who said it, the leadership of Maignan, because I didn't actually pay attention. What I pay attention is yesterday game, like, and even I can't put my hand on it. I think both of them are quality, improving compared to what it is. If you look at the Foden shot,
yeah,
low left,
he was fantastic yesterday.
He was fantastic.
He was
exactly.
absolutely fantastic yesterday.
So for me, he's big enough, he's strong enough, he's demanding enough. That's one thing. His distribution is on point. I haven't watched the other goalkeepers like maybe some people, but I think they both have a quality. I just need somebody that actually can command what's the name, a box from the corner kicks, from the free kicks, and whoever is better at it, that's the one I needed. Sometimes like you can be good with your feet at the back, but at the end of the day, if you hold on too long with your feet, you get in trouble. Sometimes I just don't need that much of the control at the back. I just need the control with your hands.
Personally, I haven't watched Onana as much as most people. I caught yesterday's game, and I've been watching Big Mike so much over the last couple of years. So for the quote for the chat there, like I personally wouldn't know, but I do know that Mike is a monster in there.
No, absolutely, he is. He is, and this is actually a decent comment. Onana has leadership qualities too. It's all about who do we have the best chance of getting. Onana is the easier option, and we just have to see if Pochettino can develop him to world-class levels. I don't disagree, because these transfers have to have an element of realism in it as well. But are Chelsea gonna try and strike for a goalkeeper that they've got no chance in getting? Because if the rumors are to be believed over the past few days, is that we have actually tried to open up conversation with AC Milan. How far that has gone, I'm not entirely sure, but definitely between the two, I'm gonna say that I would choose Magnan. But if we did get Onana, I would definitely not be disappointed. They're both a step in the right direction for several reasons. And, the overall reason for me is the fact that we are addressing a position, we're addressing the spine. We've needed to address this spine for a while. Obviously, we need to get the DM through the door. We need to get the striker through the door. But the goalkeeper position is definitely a position that is just as important.
How old are they? Or how old is Mignon? How old is Onana?
I think Mike's 28, if I'm not mistaken. 27, 28, if I'm not mistaken. And I think Onana's 25, 26.
Let's have a look. Mike Magnan. Let's have a look how old he is. Magnan is 27 years old. Let's see Andre Onana now.
Somebody said a month younger.
Andre Onana is also 27 years old. So they're both bang on the same age.
Wow.
The reason why I was asking is because we do have a quality American goalkeeper that coming in the ranking.
Slonina.
And I need to see the path for him. So that could be a potential. And another thing, whatever this guy said, Pochettino does not have no pull on how goalkeeper he can pull goalkeeper type, play from the back or that, but on a training ground he's not even in the same section on the football on the training ground.
He has a guy for that.
He has a guy
for that.
Yeah, he has nothing to do with it. We're not even training on the same pitch until the teams combine. So I don't know how practices are going. Usually that's how I know how we used to. We didn't see keepers until the end of the training sessions. So,
well, Joe says here, people who have watched Slonina have said that he's a generational goalkeeper.
It's quality.
I haven't watched him in action as much as obviously you have, Joey, and I'm assuming you have as well, Alex. Lewis, what's your experience with Slonina? Have you caught a couple of games, in his Chicago Fire days and so on and so forth? Have you seen much of him?
No, I won't even lie to you. I haven't seen much of Slonina. I've heard he's going to be great, but again, I haven't seen anything to make a judgment, so I'm not going to say anything positive or negative about him. Maybe a loan move to a Premier League side might suit him next season if we get a goalkeeper. Well, we should be getting a goalkeeper.
I think we should send him the championship, personally. I think we send him 1 year to the championship and
no
then
more
go
Atletico.
Up.
No more people with warm weather get used to and don't want to come back to England.
Yeah,
no 3-year loan.
Send him somewhere like higher level, like a Southampton or something like that. That's just going down, something along lines of that, and then 1 year.
But then that creates that situation, in my opinion, because if Southampton go up, they're just going to try and keep him again after that. That's why to me, maybe Premier League.
The kid is good enough. The kid is good enough to potentially make any of those teams go up. Is the point? That's the point of it, though. We want to make sure that he's playing as much as possible in England for a year, and then bring him up to the Premier League next year. Hopefully, we'll just use him as a second keeper next year when we're back in Champions League.
Yeah, to be honest, I think most clubs in the league already have a standard number one goalkeeper anyway.
Right.
So I get what you're saying.
Unless it's one of those teams that are just coming up, like one of those teams that are
Brighton.
No,
maybe Luton or something.
Yeah, like Luton. That's because they're
Why would you send the keeper in such a shit town, man?
Hey, character building.
the character building. I don't know anything about that personally. I'm strictly United States.
Yeah, man. Well, look,
Well, Luton's a dump, absolute dump. Sorry to anyone from Luton, but boy, that ground's a shithole.
honestly, the situation with Slanina is Tiny actually made a very good point. Slanina needs 3 years on loan, like we did for Courtois, Guni, and I think he does, because the goalkeeping position is a very mature one, man, and he's gonna need time to kind of, step up to the level. Because as well, we're talking about Chelsea Football Club here. We've got very high expectations. We're trying to get back to competing as soon as possible. So there's going to be no room for error, especially in a position like that, man. So we're going to have to give the boy some time, not try and rush him straight in to first team action. But let's see how he develops, man. He might be that exception to the rule where it's like, you know what? He's that good that we've got to start him now. Who knows? But let's just move away from the goalkeeper situation at the minute. And I just want to address a few interesting tweets that I've seen today. Obviously, one of them being from Fabrizio Romano. Pice has got it up on his Twitter page. And this quote is it's actually kind of music to my ears. Maybe there is less Chelsea news in the media. This is the approach of Pochettino. Be calm. I think this sort of communication will be good for Chelsea this summer. Now, the reason why I bring this up to you, lads, is because I've seen a lot of accounts tweeting, oh, we're not really making moves for players. We haven't heard much, blah, blah, blah. Whereas on the flip side, a lot of us were complaining that we was making our moves too public. Do you guys think that this would be the correct approach for this summer, considering everything that we went through in the last summer? I'll start with you, Joey.
I mean, there's no question. I don't know how it there was so many embarrassing moments last year during the last two transfer windows, in my opinion, and then even like coming up to the Ugarte situation, I wouldn't really consider it an embarrassment, but it's still like a slap in the face from PSG, really. And I just would rather this be something where Fabrizio is already just saying, here we go. And then we're all just excited about it. Where instead of the Enzo scenario where we were up and down for almost 2.5, 3 weeks, yes and no. And then all of a sudden last minute, we get the yes. I just would rather just get that one, here we go at the end and be like, well, that was the exact player we needed. And I'm glad that they did what they did. That's really my thoughts on it, because Twitter just gets way too toxic from it. 1, 2, these guys that are reporting this stuff on Twitter get their own opinions about it, and that's toxic. Yes. And it just I just can't deal with it. In my opinion, I'd rather it just come at once and it all be jubilant, and then we move on to the next move.
Lewis.
As a content creator, no. I'd like everything leaked.
That's fair.
Everything. Be transparent, open, all of that. But if I take my content creator hat off, this is actually better for us in the long run. Means people can't track our movements or try and outbid us in terms of buyers. It means you just move in silence, which is just better as a whole. I think we prefer the elements of surprise, or not hanging on to a hope of signing someone only for it to disappear and the whole fan base to become toxic and angry and more panicked as a result. If we don't hear anything, there's not really anything to be worried about. So, yeah, it is better.
Alex, have we learned from our lesson?
Seriously doubt it. When Todd Bowley became an owner, he brought his old Paris Hilton style of communication in from California all the way to England. There's no bad news is bad news. Everything has to be shared. Seriously, that's the one thing I don't like about the whole situation is do you think quietly, proper Russian way? Do you think quietly behind the scenes and just it's it? There's no need for it. There's no need for it. I know Lewis will be upset, but Lewis will get over it. We'll find some streamers that can donate.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
find
chat.
something to waffle
Yeah, we'll
about.
find something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's just a case of I'm just tired of the constant embarrassment, and then it's also a bit of an emotional roller coaster, isn't it? It's just like, you're telling yourself don't get excited about this player coming, and then you're starting to hear really positive news about it, and then in the last minute the plug's just been pulled. I mean, that situation with Ugarte, prime example, like you mentioned there, Joey, man. Um, a player that we desperately needed. We made it very public that we were going for the player, and then look, egg all over our face. PSG, they snitched. You know what I mean? They snitched. They was complaining about our methods of the deal. They're trying to buy part of Sporting as well when they signed in Ugarte. Fucking
And now
snitches.
they're trying to do the same thing for Manchester United. They're
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
throw their. Don't get me started with that PSG, the biggest crybabies in the world.
Well, do you know what? If we're being honest, I guess it's tit for tat in it. It's 1-1 considering the situation with Hakim Ziyech. I know that left a horrible taste in their mouth. Let's just stop all of this pettiness now. Do you know what I mean? Let's just move on from that. But another topic as well, the striker situation. Romano did comment on that too. Interesting. They feel Nkunku can help at number 9, but behind the striker mainly. This is why Felix is not staying. Now, there's a good point as to why I brought this up, because we've also been linked with another Inter Milan player. Yeah, that was on the pitch yesterday. Didn't really impress me. I don't know about the three of you, but Lautaro Martinez. And why I liken him to this tweet is because he is number 1, not an all-out striker. He is not a main number 9. He never has been. He is actually a second striker. And apparently that is an option that Mauricio Pochettino does like. Me personally, I have my doubts, and it's not just a knee-jerk reaction from what happened yesterday in the Champions League final. I was also put off by him by his performances in the World Cup as well, and it kind of makes me question him on the big stage. Let me know if you guys think I'm being a little harsh on the player. Let me know. But it's just several times in the big occasions I've just seen him put in these stinkers, man. And I'm just not really with him coming to Chelsea, especially with the transfer fee that's been touted. We're talking between, I think it's about 60 or 70 million euros for him. Lewis, would you take this player at your club, considering we've got Nkunku as well?
Wait, which player is this? Sorry.
Lautaro Martinez.
Depends on the amount, but like he didn't really impress me that much yesterday either. I won't lie. He really should have cut it back to Lukaku on that last opportunity as well. But I have seen he consistently gets 20 goals a season for Inter Milan. He looks physical. Apparently can dribble, link up play, has got decent hold up play. But I do need to watch a lot more Inter Milan to get a consistent idea of that. I've only seen a couple of games of him. But there's been areas where he's impressed me. But again, too few and far between. I know he's streaky. Like, there'll be periods of good form. Then there'll be periods where he goes like 7-8 games without scoring. Again, in the World Cup, he was having a stinker, missing chances left, right, and centre. That's why I'm a little bit iffy on him. But I don't think he'd be terrible. I'm just not sure if he's the guy who I'd say I'd put my money down, I'd put my house down on him. He's going to be a success for us. But depends on the amount for me, honestly. Like, if it's too much, then no.
Well, since we're talking about money, there's also the fact, Alex, that if we do sign him, we're still going to have to sign a striker, because the original point still stands that this guy is not an all out. Why can't I even say that? He's not an all out number 9. He's not a traditional striker.
That's why that's the whole conversation is. Why are we even talking about him when he's not
in and
the actual
out
person?
Mm-hmm.
He's a bum. He never was a player. He's a bum from the first time I saw him. He's still a bum. It doesn't matter. He found his level. Let him play over there, and don't freaking think because it stinks. He's a dumb. Like him and Lukaku, they actually met for each other. Like let them
stay at Inter.
Let them stay
and just
the
same arse.
and just poke them. Like, let them poke with the sticks. Like let them poke with the sticks. Like you stink, stay away. Go eat. No.
Joey.
I mean, how can I beat what he just said? Like, how can I beat what he just said? Honestly, like, I just keep him as far away from our club as possible, in my opinion. I just like as much as people think his hold-up play is pretty good, I just do not see him being physical enough for the Premier League. And like Julian Alvarez isn't going to play every week in and week out right now in the Premier League, but we're expecting the guy that replaced him in the Argentina team to come into our team and start game in, game out and be our 20 a game scorer. No, keep him away from our team.
Good point.
I'd much rather be in the place of like relying on a Mitrovic if I had to personally than Lautaro Martinez. I personally would rather have Mitrovic than Lautaro Martinez. That's not my first choice striker, but that would much rather be the striker of choice than Martinez.
I'll give you a little secret how I watch this offensive players. For me, it's the thing that I've known from the what's the name since I was a kid and playing the strikers to look out, and this is how you find it. And it was like a little tip the way I look at the players in offensive positions. When the wide players or second strikers, I'm not talking about nines. I'm talking about the ones that around the strikers. When they go in against the player and they raise the body, that guy is not reliable on his feet because he increases his higher center of gravity. The way I'm looking at, you need to look at the guy that actually decreases and becomes low gravity. Like, for example, when he takes on a player, he lowers himself down. That means that he's more grounded, he's more stable on his foot. And if you look at the players, the ones that we are linked with, look at this situation. It's just my experience. That's what my coach has told me. Like, this is how you do it. If you want to beat the player, lower your body to the ground. That way your knees are bent and you steady on your ground. Look at Hazard and Pulisic. Pulisic is always lift himself up and he runs on the tippy toes. That's why you do this and he falls down. You couldn't get Hazard off the ground because Hazard was always lower. Same thing with Nkunku. Nkunku lowers his gravity. This fraud, whatever he is named, Argentinian, he raises himself up every time he runs.
And he's short too. Is the other thing. He's not like a tall dude. He's like short. He's short and trying to make himself bigger when he's running. So I see what you're
just
saying.
My experience. I was told that was the way that you should be looking in offensive players because that's how they do. How you describe if he's good on the ground.
Hazard had an incredible low center of gravity. That's why I couldn't push him off the ball either. It was almost impossible, man. What a player. You're not going to see anything like that for a very, very long time. But look, the striker situation is a bit of a sticky one as well. When you realistically look at our options, our number one target obviously is Victor Osimhen over there at Napoli, another Serie A team. But you already know who we're dealing with, lads. It's ADL, 130 million euros or nothing. And this is the thing. That 130 million euros ain't even guaranteed to be 130 million euros. It might be 130 million when they leave Heathrow, but by the time they land in Naples, it could be 150 million euros. You never know with this guy, ADL. And, I've heard several things throughout the season. Apparently, there's an agreement for Osimhen to leave Napoli if they win Serie A, if they win the Scudetto. Apparently they need the money and there's an agreement that Osimhen will be the player that's sold. I don't know, so many different types of rumors, but listen, the bottom line is, do you see
right back.
That's cool. Do you see us committing 130 million euros on this no doubt talented striker, but it's still a lot of money. Still a lot of money. Lewis, what are you telling me, bruv? Do you see it happening? 130 M's? You're on mute, my bro. Unmute.
Can't be asked. Yeah. My dream would be that we send Lukaku the other way, but I don't know how realistic that would be.
What, to Naples?
Yeah. Because I feel like it keeps him in Italy, it keeps him in the league that he's good with.
Hold on. I want you to stay on that thought because it's very interesting you say that because there is a bargain chip. There's a bargaining chip with a bit of a caveat. And the caveat is we don't know how he's recovered from the serious injury he has. But that bargaining chip I'm talking about is actually Armando Broja. They are very interested in him as well. So potentially that could be the I don't know. I don't know if that rumor is still true. But look, I vaguely remember speaking with Darko about it and him saying that there might still be interest, but please don't take it for gospel. I'm gonna have to ask him the next time he's on the show, but I do vaguely remember something along those lines. But would that be a trade that you'd be happy with?
Yeah. I mean, we still have Fafana. If they want Broyer and that's part of the deal, he could do really well there. But it brings us Osimhen, and he's good enough for us right now, which is exactly what we need. We don't have time to wait and hope like a youth player is going to do well. So if Broyer's the one, it could have been a lot worse than that. So yeah, I'll take that and run with it personally.
Joey, do you believe in the Serie A tax? Because look, Italian strikers or strikers from Serie A haven't really had the best reputation coming over to the Premier League and carrying over the form from Italy. Do you feel that Osimhen will be an exception to the rule?
I do with Poch personally. I just think that the type of strikers that he's built over the years or has played with over the years, I think that it's the type of mold that would work very well. The one thing with Osimhen that just worries me is he's a very, I mean, but he's like all strikers, he's very reliant on like his confidence and this guy says he could be the next Drogba. Literally, as like that is the mold that we've been waiting for. That's the mold all Chelsea fans miss. And he literally has all the ability in the world to be that, plain and simple. Do I think that it's worth it to spend that type of money? I think it will be in the end, because I think in the end that will be the last position we end up going for. Unfortunately, as much as we need to be on top of this, I truly believe that that's going to probably end up being the last person that we end up getting at the end of the window. And it's going to end up being like midfielder, goalkeeper, then striker, the way that we'll end up to be reaching for. So I feel like it's all going to end up depending on how it really plays out throughout the market. Like, the way I know Vlahovic is up for sale, the Højlund dude's up for sale.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like, just, I feel like the way that the market's going, the way it will determine like where we could play with that number for Osimhen in the end. 100%. So I know he'll be the most expensive one out of all of them, no matter what, but I definitely think it could end up being closer to like 110 rather than like 130.
Alex, do you feel that we'll
don't want Osimhen?
You don't want Osimhen? Okay, no. I'd like to know why. Please explain. Give us your reasons.
The money is first. The second is I just think we burned enough. We've been burned on strikers with that amount of money so many times. Kind of like depressing. I'd rather have Vlahovic and keep Broja around. I'd rather do that.
So Vlahovic is your number one? Sorry to interrupt you, but Vlahovic is your number one? Okay.
The reason why first of all, there's not a good market for the strikers. There's not.
I agree with that. Right now it's a bit scarce.
And it's not necessary to just go for the one only. You see what I'm saying? Like, why? You don't have to jump to the first thing. For me, it's too much money. I don't know. I mean, he's a decent striker. Don't get me wrong. There doesn't have nothing to do with his abilities. His abilities becomes questionable on the price for me.
I hear what you're saying, man. I do hear what you're saying, but you see, with Osimhen's case, he's a player that's been looked at by our club for a very long time. So I don't think it is necessarily a knee-jerk reaction. But the price, I am
from
very
our
hesitant.
Club?
Yeah, we've been looking at Osimhen for a little while now. This isn't just
like you're talking about since we got taken over, or Marina looked at him.
I think during Marina's era as well. We've been looking at him since he was at Lille, I believe. He's been of interest since then, so they've definitely got some backlog on the player. But listen, no doubt is that price tag a bit of a deterrent for me, because especially with Chelsea Football Club, it's like we're at a point now where everything that we do has to be 100% spot on. We've made so many mistakes in the past that it's come back to bite us this season, and we're just in a position where we cannot afford to get any of this wrong. This spine this summer is going to be 100% key for us, and every single one of those players need to come in, and they kind of got a lot of pressure on them. They need to start hitting the ground running if we want to start getting back to the ways that we're used to. But look,
can I ask a quick question?
Go on.
With Vlahovic, the funny thing with Vlahovic for me is I think he's a fantastic player, but he consistently has groin injuries, like consistently has groin injuries. And then the second thing is if you were to choose between $110 million OCM and an $80 million Vlahovic, because that's really the going rate for him at this current moment, do you see the much of a difference between that 30 million? Like, is that 30 million much of a difference for you? Like, because like I truly do not believe ADL is going to hold out for 130. Like, if it's 110, right? What is that 110 to the 80 that big of a difference for you to say no to OCM? I'm just curious.
How much did they pay for the Osimhen?
Probably like 50, 60, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
what was it?
It was 110.
Oh, they paid 110 for him?
Yes. So
Oh, wow, I did not know that.
They paid 110 million for Osimhen.
That was the set that people that how much they paid for him. So he ain't going down on any price.
Hey, I did not know that. I mean, I would have to look that up. I have no idea if that's true or not. But yeah, hey, that's fair. That's very fair.
I mean, look, I'll have a look at that in a second. But Osimhen's not the only option, quite rightly, like you said. There's also Vlahovic. There's also this Rasmus Højlund as well. We seem to, that name seems to be coming up. I don't know too much about the striker. I just know he plays for Atalanta, and he's being compared to Erling Haaland. How rightfully that is, once again, I don't know. But there is an option that hasn't really come up, and he's just signed a new contract for Brighton. And I quite like Barry Ferguson. Is it Evan Ferguson, actually? Evan Ferguson is his name, I believe. Yeah. Young striker. I think he's got a very promising future, but I don't know if Brighton are going to be letting go of.
He needs like another year or so, though.
He does, yeah. He's very raw, and we do need experience. I 100% agree, but I do like him. But too many players for the future, not good. But
it was 90 mil. I just saw
it was 90 mil. So
yeah.
Osimhen was 90 mil for
90. 110, I don't think so.
It's still a very expensive transfer for
Napoli, man. Yeah, for sure.
Big.
I was just curious of what your thought was.
Big money for Napoli, but Lewis, what other options out there would you be looking at outside of the ones that were mentioned? Because it's true, like the strikers market right now isn't really at its best. There's not really too many options out there.
Yeah, it's just Vlahovic, Osimhen, Lautaro. I think Jonathan David's popped around a couple times.
I'll take
That's
Tony.
about it. Yeah, or Tony if you want to wait till January. And to be honest, if we can't get anyone else, I'd do it. Hell, if we could get somebody else, I'd still
do it. Yeah, exactly.
I'll just give him a vending machine in the dressing room. His own little.
Because I feel like he's not going to miss if we give him a chance and he's going to come in. He's just not going to miss if he does.
Plus, he'll be allowed back in training from September, so you can get him ready for the system in that time too.
Oh, that's good. I thought he was not allowed to train. I thought that was like a whole big part of it.
Until September. So he's basically got a summer holiday.
This one is
I think
interesting.
I think it's 110. I think at 110 it was buyout clause. That's what.
Okay.
That was 110. I think that's the buyout clause.
Buyout, yeah. It might have already expired, to be honest, because they've had him for a couple of years now.
Looks like
I just still have PTSD from that expensive Lukaku.
Yeah, I get you, man. I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah, we've got to get it right. Ah, this is another name here, just incredible. And Benfica striker Ramos. I mean, the few times I've seen him, and again, I'd probably say two, maybe three times outside of the World Cup. I'd say about two or three times I've seen him. I've liked what I've looked, but again, it's not a big enough sample size to say definitively, yeah, I want to sign him for Chelsea Football Club. But out of the three of you guys, have you guys watched him enough to be able to make a conclusion on him? Do you reckon he'd be able to make that step up? Lewis, try and have a go
Who?
first.
What player?
Giancarlo Ramos from Porto, I think.
No,
Porto?
Benfica.
No, Benfica.
Yeah, I've heard a few people talk about it, but I haven't watched the comp. I haven't watched nothing of this guy, so genuinely, I can't say a word on Ramos.
Yeah, that's a
I don't
thing
know if
I was
any of
just
you
about to
guys
say.
have, but I don't know.
I watched a little bit of him, especially the World Cup. Like I watched him a lot during the World Cup. It looks like he looks good, but it's just I feel like once again it's just like one of those too early to tell, or you got to take a risk at him. And I don't think anybody in the Premier League is going to really take a risk at him for the price they want. They want like 90 million for the guy.
Yeah, they're saying in the comments, they're saying 80
Yeah, like
million.
yeah, they want a lot for him. I mean, and that's the going rate for a striker, like a top striker from a top European league is 80 million right now.
Honestly, I'm saying this, if we have to buy a striker in this market, which is looking like we have to, my ideal two choices, obviously Victor Osimhen would be one of them, but I'm so disappointed at this whole situation with Ivan Toney, man. I'm really disappointed at that because I really felt that he could have come in and done a decent job and at a respectable price as well. And he's played in the league and he ticks off every single box because Ivan Toney for me is a very complete striker. He runs the channels as well as he runs the central positions. His movement is intelligence. He's a clinical finisher. He's got everything about him.
Airily doesn't miss a duel in the air. Like
that's what I mean.
Unbelievable.
And he's got a bit of a bastard streak in him as well. He's a bit of a shithouse of a player at times, and that's something that we desperately miss at Chelsea Football Club, man. Desperately miss that. In our history, we've had them before. The last one we had Diego Costa, massively missed. Do you know what I mean? Massively. Oh, it's Gonzalo. Sorry, E-man. I'm not Portuguese. I thought it was Goncalo. I just read it how I see it, but it's Gonzalo. Now I've learned something new.
Oh, my apologies as well. That's how I was pronouncing it as well.
I think what's the name? Guni, you like people forget one thing.
Sorry for Americanizing it.
One thing, and it's one thing is important. It's we play once a week.
Yeah, that's true.
So all this, we need to do this. We can wait for Tony. If the push come to shove, we can wait for Tony in January. We can sign what I don't think is Vlahovic is going to cost us about 80. He's not even close. He's going to cost us about 50, 60. Top. That's number one. Even if it's not that, look at Nkuku until January and as a striker because he played as a striker the way it is once a week. If Pochettino is the manager that everybody describes he can put the what's his name, and Broja is still there. For me, yeah. I think we do not need to rush it on number 9. We need a striker more than anything. But if push comes to shove, don't spread the money. Wait for the market to even up. That's all it is. I
mean,
I have to disagree with you, man. We need someone up there. I mean, if it's Tony and we're waiting for Tony and we play Nkuku until we get Tony, that's cool with me. But we need to make sure we get someone in there.
That's what I'm saying. No, we need a striker for the whole season. We need a striker. There's no question about it. It's just I'm saying like I don't like even if it's a loan from somebody because even Juventus could be potentially have a problem next season with what's the name. With the league, get him on loan for one season because you know what I'm saying, something like that.
It'd be risk free.
I think if we're gonna do that, we might as well get Mitrovic. Like truly, like if that's the case, because I do not think that that's gonna cost us that much. And like like I think that he would be a viable striker for us to hold until the next season, where we find the guy that we actually really want, or he just takes over and continues to score 18 to 20 goals, one or the other, in my
I
opinion.
think
Like
Mitrovic is not good enough with his finishing ability. He's not good finisher. He's a good aerial, but I don't think he's good finisher with his feet.
Lewis, do we address the striker situation this season, or do we do as Alex said, just have a little bit of patience and perhaps wait, or go for an option that is not as expensive as 130 million and just sort of see how the market progresses in the future?
I want Ivan Toney, but we need a striker now. We need a striker now. Our finishing has been fucking horrific, not just this season, but the last 3 or 4. I could stomach waiting till February, but then I would also have to just have it in my head that we're not going to be completely serious until that point, because I don't believe we're going to have it in us to kill off games, because we're not going to have a consistent goal scorer. I'd take 2 strikers with Toney. Competition, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But we have to have a striker in the summer. We cannot go with Havertz or still having a Aubameyang or whatever. No, we need an actual out-and-out long-term number 9.
Would you do like a Jonathan David and a Toney window? Like Jonathan David, who's just like an absolute, the kid just all he does is press. He could score here and there, but he presses his heart out. And then
as well.
And then Toney coming in like February.
Yeah, I guess, because Toney was my number 1. If he didn't have the
Me
betting
too, man. Me too.
I would want him over everyone else. So if you're saying Jonathan David comes in and then Toney, that's fine by me. If David ain't good enough, then Toney comes in. So yeah, I wouldn't be against that.
I don't know. I think I'll make a decision when I see how many players actually leave the club, because remember, we're talking over double digits that are being touted to leave Chelsea Football Club. So, if we get rid of the majority of those, then the conversation becomes different, because if we've already addressed the goalkeeper situation, the DM situation, and we've got some money left over, maybe, the 130 M's might not look so bad on an Osimhen, or maybe it will. You never know. But the last
Kai Havertz sail away from it happen.
Huh?
Kai Havertz sail away from it happening, in my opinion.
Well, there's Kai Havertz. There's a Kai Havertz situation, the Mason Mount situation. If rumors are to be believed, untenable between the player and Chelsea. So it looks like he'll be leaving the club. Let's just hope Chelsea don't price him out of a move. Who else as well? The Loftus-Cheek situation. We heard news today that AC Milan is still interested in the player. So you never know there. The Gallagher situation. Hopefully Chelsea don't price him out of a move, but there's interest there. There's several others. Ziyech is definitely not staying, and you can see
Pulisic is going to get a move.
Right here, you can see it on the screen. Chelsea are working behind the scenes in the month of June. Priority is outgoings. Pulisic is talking to Italian clubs. So
every single Chelsea news that I want to see from now on should say behind the scenes on it. Until further notice.
I think people misunderstood what I said about the striker. I don't want us to go for the striker in the beginning of the summer. I want us to get rid of players and because people saying like, oh, those players will now be there. But there's not that many strikers. There's potentially the one that over expensive, which is Osimhen. The rest of them, nobody is going for them. You see what I'm saying? So for me, if we need Osimhen, we still can get him at the end of the summer.
I agree with that 100%.
We need
the other strikers might not be, because Bayern needs a striker, Man U needs a striker as well. And then Havertz, I think that
we already know who he is. He speaks German. He knows.
I think actually Madrid now need a striker as well. Like there's places, and then if Kane moves, Tottenham will need a striker. Like there's places that strikers that need a striker. Yeah. But none of them want OCM. So in my opinion, like that OCM deal, like I was saying from the beginning, I feel like it's going to be at the end of the summer. We'll end up like that's when we'll know what our plan really is for that position, is going to be probably after we get a goalkeeper and get Caicedo. Like that's probably what's gonna end up happening.
realistically, Lewis, how many players do you see actually getting out of the door this season?
You could see up to
This summer,
10 to 12 if things go right. Yeah, there's a lot of players that either want to leave or we're trying to get rid of. I know no one's left just yet, but it is only the 11th of June. I
Window's
expect a
not
lot
open.
Yeah, exactly. I expect a lot of players to go. If less than 7 left, I'd be surprised. But I'd expect over 10.
Yeah, I said 8 to 10, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
around
be that would be the ideal number, man. That'd definitely be the ideal number. But some of the people in the comments don't think that's a realistic number. Again, it all depends on Chelsea.
Why?
It depends on the price tag that we stick on these players.
But why though? Why wouldn't it be realistic to see 8 to 10 players?
No, I mean, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying that it's not. That's not me personally. But there is one factor that determines how many of these players go out of the club, and that is the value that Chelsea have on these players and whether they are willing to play around that price. Because I worry when I hear Chelsea want 50 million for Gallagher, and then you got Newcastle that are not willing to go above, I think, 30 million, 35 million or something like that. And then you've got the situation but the Kai Havertz one, I'm not going to lie to you. That one isn't as extreme because there's a 10 million valuation difference from the value. And I believe that can be negotiated. It's Real Madrid for goodness sake.
Fine.
They don't need
I'm
to
sure if Ancelotti wants them, they'll get them, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So
right now, they just got bigger fish to fry. They got Harry Kane they need to sort out first.
Yeah, because
that's probably what's going to end up happening, yeah.
Because of the move of Benzema, right? But apparently, Harry Kane going to Real Madrid wouldn't affect a move of Kai Havertz going there either. So that's what we've been seeing over the past few days.
They'll go for both. They only got 2 forwards right now. It's just Vinny and Rodrigo.
True. No, that's very true.
Jeez, that's crazy actually to think about. Madrid.
That's why I'm not worried. Like they've got to sort out their whole depth. So they're going to get the number one choice.
Manchester United is going for Osimhen.
Well, if they get
if they get Saudi money, they will. But even that, I think they want Højlund. Transfer. I'm pretty sure like that Højlund deal is like totally out of the question. I'm pretty sure Man United's like very, very advanced for that deal.
Even if they get Saudi, the transfer is not going to be done this summer. The ownership is not going to change in this summer. It took us how long to change our ownership?
And ours needed to be done quickly as well.
And ours needed to be done
exactly.
Quickly.
And the new if it's Saudi, I'm like with the Newcastle deal, the way how long it took Newcastle to get their ownership, it took them almost like 2.5 years. I'm sure it'll take at least a year for.
I still don't think it's going to happen with that because of geopolitical situation in the world. I think it's going to be Ratcliffe.
True, and United are also looking at Kolo Muani as well. So hopefully
that's the other one too.
By that
Højlund and Kolo.
Yeah. But you can never write off Manchester United when they're linked to any kind of player. But I don't know. I don't see them committing that kind of outlay when they've got so much uncertainty with their future. At least I hope. I hope that's not wishful thinking. But people
they'll spend 200 million in the summer, bro. Like they got that put away to at least spend every single summer, bro. Like that's just what the Glazers have put away for them to use almost every single summer that you've seen. So that's what they'll spend. And there's really no difference will be. It's not. I just don't see a huge difference even if the Saudi money comes in because they already are spending so much money. They're like infrastructure might get better, but like the amount of players they're going to get, I just don't see it being that much different.
I don't know. Those owners might come in. They might improve the facility. They might expand the stadium. They might sack the existing people that are there and just, really try and go toe-to-toe with Manchester City and regain that dominance in Manchester. It's a different, that kind of challenge. The owners that are going in there, I think the bare minimum the fans want is to be able to quote-unquote throw those wankers off their perch, as Alex Ferguson once said about Liverpool, but this time Manchester City. So let's see. And I think if the Qataris do get them, it's Manchester United, man. They are the biggest club in the country, unfortunately.
Let's just hope they don't get those dudes, man.
Say that again?
Let's just hope we don't get those dudes, because
I
then
hope
the
not. I
entire
hope not.
league is Arab owned. A third of the league is Arab owned, and Arab money is just getting funneled into it. Like I just hope it doesn't happen. And I'm Arab, and I'm hoping it doesn't happen. So
Let's see. But people, we have come up to the hour mark. We've gone slightly over the hour. Big up to everybody that joined in. Apologies for the technical difficulties at the beginning of the stream, but we was able to fix them quite quickly, and here we are. Big up all the 215 people in the building. Smash that like button before you make an exit. Also, if you're watching after the stream, leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you to everybody that joined in. Alex, thank you very much for joining. Joey, thank you very much for joining. Also, Lewis, thank you very much for joining. Lewis, let the peoples know what you've got coming up later on, or what you've already got up on your channel so they can go and have a watch.
If you want to see a week's worth of Cold War debates, check any of my streams that we just did over the last week. We got Shameless FC in 45 minutes though, so just take a look out for that.
Who's going to be on Shameless FC tonight? Is it the usuals?
Yeah, usual. We got Flawless. I think Jan's going to be on from Istanbul, so we're going to be talking about Man City. Ryan, Neil's still gone. Rest in peace to Neil and everything. And
what about Igal?
Nah, Igal's not on. Oh, Cam's on. Although I might shout Igal because I want to talk about this fucking Man City have eclipsed Chelsea argument.
Oh, yeah, that tweet, bruv. That guy is a professional rattler. I'm not going to lie, that brother. Igal, but big up Igal, man. That guy gives me joy still. Yeah, man. But listen, people, thank you very much for joining in this stream. And yeah, once again, thumbs up, all of that good stuff. We will be seeing you. Well, I'll be seeing you probably tomorrow. And once again, the barbecue shall resume this week. We're just waiting for that microphone to reach Darko, so it doesn't sound like he's talking through a sponge every time he wants to make a comment.
Big up Darko every single time.
We got a big up Darko. Do you know what I mean? We got a big
every
up
single time
for the information he's been giving us. But peoples, we are out. Bless up, and most important.